on the play, and they're going up to 3 Dawn here. And it looks like from the Rob Lucci, we got a Spondum on the board. And I'm not sure what we added with that, but we'll find out in a bit, I'm sure.
All right, so that's a Brook.
I love Brook in these lists. Nice way to fill the board, but also attack pretty powerfully.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of aggression early, and you can just bounce it back to your hand and keep a 2K for later.
Yep. We took the 1 life here as the Rob Lucci. I think it makes a lot of sense. You take your first one a lot of times, and the 7 is not one you want to get out of. And Chopper came down with the last Dawn out of the Law deck. Rob Lucci's going up to 4 Dawn. A nice turn for something like a Borsalino or a Kuzan if we're playing this type of list. We'll attack for 5 first. Easy take from Law. Generally, as Law, you take the first life, usually first 2.
Yes.
And it looks like we see Air Door come out there. So we are playing a more CP-heavy version. And Bluno will be the card added to hand there.
Does he have the Dawn for the Bluno? That's the question.
Well, CP9, I believe, puts it into play there. Or Air Door, I'm sorry.
No, does he have the Dawn to attach?
Oh, the Dawn to attach. No, he does not. No. All right, and we're doing a lot of things. We're building up to our board here. We got the starter Nami coming in as a last one. So now we can play any 2-drop and still use a Law ability should we want to. Looks like we're opting for an attack of 5 here, possibly.
Oh,
using the Nami.
And the Nami, yep.
Then we go here. That makes a lot more sense. Now you can play a 1-drop and use Law. There we go. So attack for 5 with the Brook. See what we get there. Looks like Kumadori has been pitched. Attack for 5 with the lead.
So
big consideration here.
Yeah, you don't know if you're going to get attacked again. Like, this could very much just be play a 1-drop, play Law, play the Rush Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've gone for Otama and bringing the book back up in the hand, and it'll be starter Law. So not a powerful effect on the enters here, but will be a good body to attack with here in the future.
2 Dawn for a 6K is always a solid.
It's a pretty solid consideration, especially after saving something that attacked and is no longer vulnerable to being attacked back. It's very nice. Passing over to the Rob Lucci side, we're going up to 6 Dawn. A lot of options now available to us. Looks like we're going possibly for a 7K attack with Blue Note. Instead, a 5K attack with Rob Lucci. Just making sure we attach that Dawn to the Blue Note. Considering some options.
So do you think he's setting up to try to clear the board here, or do you think he is going to try to just make as many value plays as possible?
I think you have to be an amount of value here.
Yeah, because his board doesn't really have anything you're like happy to knock out.
Right. I think ultimately you really just got to play towards the weakness that you've seen from the Law player right now. They traded into something that wasn't gaining them card advantage, and they haven't played card advantage this entire way up. No Dodans, no Namis or anything like that. No Jewelry Bonnies. So you just play to grinding them out, I think, here a bit, and just play a bit of a value game. But we did see Starter Nami was the card that went away there. Back to the Law side, we'll consider what our attacks look like. I assume we attack with this Law this turn and the Leader Law. And it looks like agreed there, attacking for 7. A lot of these 7 attacks are difficult, right? This Rob Lucci doesn't want to pitch 2 cards a lot of the time. So we are losing what seems to be a decent amount of life to these 7 attacks, which is obviously what Law wants to do. But
yeah,
it does feel bad, I think, from the Rob Lucci side.
Do we have a Dadan? Nope.
The Brook is back again. We'll use the 2 Dawn. Probably do another 7 attack. Oh, we're going with Otama?
Oh. What are we doing
Very interesting.
Here?
We're getting a little boisterous with this. Attacking for 5 with law.
I'm not sure what Russell is signaling here, so I'm sure our Rob Lucci player is also very curious why we are putting 2 Don on this Otama.
Well, all right. Counter out of that one. We'll see what the Otama might be considering here. How powerful is this attack going to be?
Is this going to be a Mackinac coming down? No.
Looks like we're bouncing. Okay. So the 2 Dawn could have been used to make a more powerful law attack, but instead they wanted to threaten possibly another attack in the future.
Yeah.
And looks like Otama.
Is that a Sanji?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that's the new Sanji, yes.
Yes. So, all right. So Otama was bounced back to hand. Nothing was put in off of the ability, and then Sanji was played out. Okay. That makes some sense to me. It does signal even farther to the Rob Lucci player that, yeah, we don't have something to really play out from our hand here. There's no powerful green law effects. So definitely feeling a bit of a weakness that we might be able to abuse. Going back to the Rob Lucci side here, we're going up to an 8 Dawn turn, and man, this Rob Lucci deck usually loves just playing on these even numbers, so 8 Dawn can be any number of terrible things that you'd be looking towards. Double Borsalino, Isho can come down, a lot of
Russell's
different
hand is at 5.
possibilities. Hand at 5. Okay. As Rob Lucci, do you think you'd like to consider attacking towards board or attacking towards life here when you go to law?
It depends. If you know you can remove this law, but you have to get through 2 choppers is the issue, I think I would attack the law. But if you're not certain, I think you want to go to life. The problem with going to life is you might find him that Jewelry Bonnie he's so in need of right now.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Chopper is going to jump in front of this 8K attack. I'd have to assume that's on the character law, not the leader, as that'd be 2K above, and that's generally what you want to do with these decks. Looks like Rob Lucci is considering maybe using the untap ability of Rob Lucci to discard 2 and attack again for 8K. You'd probably eat the other Chopper, but that's not even that bad, I think.
Yeah, I think he's got more powerful things to do than that, but we'll see.
I generally agree, but
yeah. I think a card from hand just to eat a Chopper is, unless the card is very bad, is a negative trade on your part.
Yeah. Looks like we pitched an Otama plus a Sanji there. 2Ks to get out of that one instead of using the Chopper. So really valuing the blocker on board right now. But I think we're okay with that. We're down to 2 cards in Russ's hand there as the law player. So definitely feels like we're losing a lot of resources here.
Well, I think his plan is next turn have a nice attack with the Sanji plus get a card off life.
Okay.
I think he's in a position where he needs to find a searcher, whether it be a Nami or a Dadan, if not the Bonnie. Otherwise, he's just going to lose the resource war.
And it looks like we're just going for more attacks, 8K onto the law, saying, hey, you want to protect it, you have to protect it from everything. And it looks like Chopper will eat that one.
Oh, now we're going to use the effect.
Aha.
Shields
Discard
are
2.
down.
Yeah. And just say, if you want to get out of this, you'll use everything you have. Yeah. And Russ, I think, correctly identifying, all right, you've got it this time. So
Russ looking like he's in a bad spot here.
Yeah, Rob Lucci identifying this turn that, hey, I don't need to play anything to the board. I just need to make sure my opponent's board doesn't have anything. Really abusing that weakness we saw of, hey, your hand isn't very powerful, so we're going to make sure that you can't use anything from it.
Is the Lucci at 3, I think?
I would believe so, I think.
All right. So I could be wrong, but I think he's almost got to kill him on this turn, and I don't think that's going to happen.
You have 2 life still here as law. You need to survive 1 of 3 attacks.
Well, and then the Lucci double attack.
The Lucci double attack. If something dies, but I guess that's pretty easy. So because the Spondum can attack him, so that is fair. Looks like Rob Lucci is just considering. I have to assume this 8K attack is going at one of the characters on board there. Probably the Bluno. Well, I guess it has
No,
Dawn
it's
equipped,
probably
so
not the
yeah,
Bluno.
it's probably the other one.
Yeah, because the
So
Bluno buys back something.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, 2K over. Looks like Rob Lucci. We'll just let that go, and I think that's fine. Rob Lucci's fine with losing their board. They're still ahead in the card advantage game right now. So
So he decides not to use the Sanji ability. I guess
I,
he assumes he's going to draw the card, taking the life next turn anyway.
well, I think once you establish that you're going to attack your opponent's board down, that
Yeah,
you're saying, hey, I'm trying to protect myself from dying on this next turn. So taking your life as Sanji kind of negates that attack
it's
on
true.
what would
That's
be
very,
the
very,
character
very
in the
true.
first place. Now it looks like Brook does connect a 7K attack, so we're down to 1 life from the Rob Lucci player. Law was able to bleed that out, which is nice, but will be difficult moving forward. You kind of hope you see like Zoro in hand plus a large Law attack that might be able to get through. But Rob Lucci's got a lot of cards in hand still. You haven't been able to pressure a whole
Yeah.
lot of those cards out. If I'm Rob Lucci here, I'm going to be trying to attack down the board still, make sure they don't have the attackers moving forward probably, but I need to get my opponent down to at least 1 life, so I'm able to kill them on a future turn, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And neither of these characters are very big. So, like, the Spandom by itself is going to probably pick one off.
I would tend to agree. I think Spandam will get a Dawn attached and will attack in, get one of these 3Ks
Because he's
off.
not going to discard to save a Brook or a Sanji
No,
here.
I can't imagine he ever would. And even if he does, that's probably okay.
Yeah, I think you would be happy to see that. You think he attacks with the Lucci first, just on the slim chance that he wants to go for it?
I think, like I said, I think you need to get at least 1 life attack in.
Yeah.
I think if you don't do that, your opponent will still be at 2 life, and they can attack you down to 0 life. And that would be a threatening position if you don't have a way out of that. Now, obviously, you have blockers in Rob Lucci, so you can figure that out. But
Right,
I
here comes
think
the
you can.
Spandom.
Yeah, I think you could attack with the Spandam first. I think it's fine. Okay, so Tama has been pitched.
So he is going to save them.
Honestly, after that's happened, it doesn't even feel that bad. These cards in hand aren't doing anything. You're trying to win with what you have here, so protecting them is probably okay.
Okay, yep, there's the Lucci.
Yeah, Lucci coming in for 5 at life. Makes sense. Like I said, you need to get at least 1 life down. Attach 1 to Bluno. Bluno might just be a blocker on this turn. I think that'd be pretty powerful. And it looks like this is the 6-drop Rob Lucci.
Yeah, that's
Not
scary.
not often played in these decks, but pretty powerful here, honestly. Putting 2 CP9s on the bottom, and we have Rush now. So attacking in for 7K attack at the lead.
So he's got the Bluno.
Interesting. I think
I think he can kill him here.
So 4 cards in hand, you'd have to attach the last 2 to Bluno. That'd go up to a 9K. Your opponent would have to pitch 3 cards to survive out of it, and then
you untap the Lucci. Right.
Well, Lucci needs something to die on board.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. I think keeping Bluno back is powerful. Holding up 2 Dawn for Shockwave would be something else that would be really threatening to your opponent's board right now. And that's probably why we didn't see harder attacks towards the actual characters on board. Instead, going for the last life, making sure that your opponent's down to 0.
So Russell did not draw the Dadan or the Bonnie, because I think those would have been slammed almost immediately.
Possibly. I think Russ is trying to win this turn. I don't think you can survive, unfortunately. You'd have to survive through 3 attacks that are much bigger. So I don't know that Bonnie is necessarily the savior.
Starter Nami.
Yep, starter Nami. It's free to play, so no problem there.
Yeah.
Attacking in for 6. Pitch a 2K from hand from the Rob Lucci. Yeah, this is starting to feel pretty rough from the Law side. You're either going to need about 2 blockers here, and even Rob Lucci's going to negate an amount of that.
So, Brook, yep.
Brook's going to come down.
Also free to play
for 5. If you could do something like play a Chopper here, pick up Sanji or pick up Brook to put Blocker Law in. Blocker Law picks up the other one. Put in something like a Capone gang, yeah, maybe you might be able to survive the board then. But
Yeah.
Based on the small amount of card resources we've seen from Russ's hand, he'd have to have some pretty lucky life to kind of have those abilities.
He could be sitting on a guard point right now. He's got 3 cards. Let's see. I also know that a lot of the law players have been playing 2 to 3 of what's the one that Whitebeard plays? I'm so sorry, I'm blanking. The 1 3K, the event.
The guard point.
Guard point, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I said guard point earlier. He's probably sitting on a guard point or a radical beam. I
Radical beam,
apologize.
sure,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I had to question myself. I was like, oh no,
yeah,
I think that's guard point.
Yeah, I think him leaving up Don,
Yeah.
it could be a bluff, but it's very much like, yep. Oh no.
Yeah, so
signaling.
we talked over that just a little bit, but Shockwave did come in at the most opportune time to kind of break up the board that Russ was trying to build towards there. So there was no law ability from the leader there. Instead, we just played Nami to search up a chopper and put that in the way.
Yep.
Untapping from Rob Lucci's side, and this seems like a pretty easy we'll get there. And yeah, we'll attack for 1 million with the leader, and then something died, so we'll discard
we'll
2,
again.
and we'll try again, please. And yeah, you just have 1 card in hand, so I think that gets there. Yeah. Tough side from the law player.
Yeah, as every law player knows, law's the best deck in the format when you draw your searchers.
Yeah.
When you don't, you're just playing bad cards.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, too, Rob Lucci was kind of a difficult matchup in general for these law players. Being able to remove things at opportune times, Shockwave coming down as something to get out of an attack, plus mess up what you've got going on board. Definitely a more difficult matchup for the law player, I think.
For sure, and having blockers that I can't Vista or Nico Robin just also makes the matchup miserable, even though, some law players have chosen not to play those cards anymore. Some still do, and being un-KOable is super important.
Yeah, we also saw a little bit of weakness from I think the law side there. Not only that they didn't have searchers, but just didn't have the top end you kind of want to go into. You really want that blocker law to accrue the value to bounce back what you've got going on board. And instead, we just saw I'll just play a 6K body into I'm not going to play anything because I don't have anything anymore once they bounce the Otama. It doesn't feel great. It feels like there was some missed opportunity, but sometimes law just kind of works that way. You just don't find what you need in the correct times. And
yeah, I think Russell played that as perfect as you can in that situation. Like, sometimes the cards just don't fall your way, and you just kind of have to deal with it, I mean, but I think he gave himself every opportunity to draw out of it, and just it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that'll just be the way there. But we also talked previously about Rob Lucci. How would we see it built? And that was a more CP9 heavy version with Air Door still being played, which was one of the cards that people really talked about in these lists of, hey, does this actually deserve a spot? So it's interesting to see that, hey, someone thinks that's still viable within the current meta. And obviously they played it quite well there, being able to play the Bluto package with the Air Door is always strong. So very interesting to see that list still bopping around here.
And I actually think that list is worse for a law.
Yeah, so, I would probably agree. Definitely more difficult.
Matchup roulette fell into his favor there pretty well.
And that's some amount of these tournaments. You got to get lucky with some matchups. And
he also knew he was walking into the Reds' last stand, so maybe a good meta call, yeah.
Yeah, so we are going to, in the meantime, we're going to see if we can't find another game that's already going on to pop on over to. We will figure that out and move over to that in a bit.
So we got a new game.
Okay, a new game right now, I'm being told, so let's jump over to that. All right, jumping into the middle of this one here, looks like we got Film Kid versus Law there. Yes. Arnell versus Victor. So we're joining mid-game. Looks like Law's built up their board, and they have a bit more of the top end that we didn't see Russ find last game. The Film Kid deck is also in a pretty strong spot. They got that Nami on board already. Looks like they got the Luffy, which is a great attacker and blocker. And attacking in for 7k with a Nami, we'll generally see one tapped here to use the ability and look at the top 3.
Is Film Kid at 0 life?
Yeah, looks like 0 life for Film Kid. So definitely going to need some amount of blockers here. And just pray that your opponent doesn't have unblockable Luffy.
Yeah.
However, Film Kid may have 0 life, but they've got a very hot rainbow keyboard that they're really showcasing in the bottom of their webcam there. And I do want to call that out. That looks very nice.
Yeah.
It looks very nice.
Unfortunately, rainbow keyboards are not going to win you this game. I mean, they might.
They might. Looks like we're just trying to get some big attacks in from the kid side, trying to kill our opponent before we're going to die. And looks like that might be a bit difficult based on the board I'm seeing out of Law here.
The Law player has too much life, I think, for that, but maybe.
So I think that was the untap of Kid to attack again.
Okay.
So that would be all the attacks. Now we just have a blocker against 2 laws. I'm sorry, 3 total laws.
Is there any Dawn up? I cannot see.
Oh, there still is
Shine
Zoro.
is.
It's okay. That's a little weird, but yeah, the Zoro just accidentally came back into the Dawn. That was on the board previously last turn, so there's no problem there. But yeah, looks like we're attacking in for 7k, and you have 2 cards in hand. Okay, so you're gonna block and pitch, and I'll attack for 7k again, and you shouldn't be able to get out of it.
You should pitch, yeah.
So that should be it. No surviving there. Law player takes this one as Film Kid falls to Law.
Yeah. So that's the power of Law, like you were talking about. Like if you have your top end, I mean, you just beat people down. There's just too many attackers coming across in one turn, swinging for 7k. It's oppressive to some extent.
It is. I don't know how the beginning of that match went, obviously, but Film Kid definitely needs to have that board prior to those late turns. They need to have some ability to have the board so that Nami can attack and you can use its ability pretty frequently, but while also protecting it. But it looks like the Film Kid player was kind of missing that. Looks like the Luffy came down, played a Nami, and they didn't have much else going on. So I don't know exactly what transpired. Seems like they were just kind of missing some of the opportunity there that they would have liked to have.
So what do you think Film Kid's future looks like with the bans?
Future? I never thought Film Kid was super viable in these metas. I think it's fun. I like the deck a lot. But it's just a bit too clunky in the current red meta, I think. Moving forward, I think you'll probably get slightly better, but I think green still will have a problem against yellow in general. Yellow's still just a difficult matchup. You're not able to play against their big top end, so you have to play a more aggressive version, and I don't think that really works, unfortunately. I feel like you got to get lucky a bit more.
Kuro's still the go-to for aggroing out yellow. Got it.
Yeah, I think Kuro would be an option that you could play. We've definitely seen some cool Kuro on some past coverage. And what do you think? So Kuro was definitely always super good against red, right? Like it was super good to prey on the Zoro type lists. I think there'll be some loss of Kuro there, right? Like because you won't have that matchup specifically.
I guess you lose that matchup, but if the whole format slows down, I think Kuro's speed might be a factor. It could just be like you just play Arlong maybe and just jam out 5 drops.
That'd be interesting.
Not 5 drops. 5Ks. Sorry.
No,
Sparrow and all of his friends. Smoothies and fight yellow with yellow.
Yeah, definitely interesting. As we're Three Swords Productions, one of our co-anchors, Stephen Abbott, definitely played a lot of Arlong. So we got a lot of testing in on some Arlong stuff, and he'd be happy to hear you saying that Arlong could have some possibility moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an Arlong believer by any means, but I think going fast is going to be a harder thing to find. So if a deck can find that, then might see some positive results.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to find what will be the aggro deck, because we keep talking about how aggro will lose a lot of power in what it's got going on, but what's going to take that spot? Because assumedly something's trying to take that spot. and it's interesting what that'll be. Looks like we do have another match to jump over to, so we're going to do that right now. As we jump in mid-game. All right, so jumping over, looks like we've got a starter Croc versus, I believe, Queen. Looks like there. And it looks like Queen still has 2 life plus a Yamato on board and a Katakuri. And starter Law, or starter, I'm not Law, we've seen Law so much. Starter Croc having a bit more anemic of a board here is just a Pacifista and a Kaya on board. And it looks like a face-up life of
Oh yeah, okay, face-up life. I was wondering what that was.
I believe that's Katakuri put that one back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So looks like Queen is a bit on the advantage scale here in favor, but we definitely know that the tempo that these Croc decks can buy back with can be good. Stuff like Red Rock can definitely be able to answer what your opponent has going on from Queen here.
The Queen player's got a handful too. Not what you want with Queen all the time.
Looks like we're pitching Kaya to get out of that one. It looks like that is a Mihawk. I'll put that Pacifist on the bottom. Attack in for 8k at the lead. Looks like we don't have too many cards from Crocodile here. Looks like we'll have to consider some options. Although I guess we do have Dawn open, so stuff like Love Beam does get more possible. Unsure what the event is, but it looks like it was counted out there. Maybe something. I'm not sure what the event is. Looks like we're taking this one.
All right. So unfortunately, I don't think that Kaya is going to get the job done.
Kaya, not the best attacker. Usually just a bit of fixing, but looks like we're untapping here from the Crocodile side. We're going to need to find a way to stave off these giant attacks while also pressuring our opponent, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to find that.
Yeah, I think you're looking for Red Rocks. Miss all Sundays to block, get your Red Rock back, but
the problem is I don't think we have the Dawn for that. And it looks like our opponent agrees on the Croc side there. Queen taking this one. And I think that's generally how this matchup's going to work. Croc's just got to be a bit more aggressive, and they don't always want to do that. Unfortunate there, but definitely powerful from the Croc side. Yeah, let's jump back over to a camera of us here, but